In this breakdown video, I'll be reviewing the Dungeons & Dragons Modern Icon Catti-brie statue. I'll be taking a deep dive into the packaging, the paint, and the design, and answering your biggest questions at the end of this video. Is this statue worth your money? So please join me, Rook, from Rook, Geek Goodness, in this breakdown video to discuss the Modern Icons Catti-brie statue. Alright guys, we're in a breakdown segment looking at the Modern Icons Dungeons & Dragons Catti-brie statue. This is a GameStop exclusive. If you like this content, smash that like button bottom of the page, and all importantly, hit that subscribe button. One little click from you can help me out tremendously by getting this video across the YouTube platform for people looking for this content can find it. So the very first thing we do in a breakdown segment, we look at the packaging and presentation. This is a pretty large box. I had to pull the camera back pretty far to get it all in the shot. So let's break down this packaging so you can see what it looks like here. We have the all-important Dungeons & Dragons logo. It does say Catti-brie. It is a rather large window box for a statue of this particular size. It's not massive, but it's a decent size. Again, pull the camera pretty far back so you can get it all in the shot. We have a nice little shot of what she looks like right here. The all-important GameStop exclusive sticker. This is, again, an exclusive to just GameStop. I don't think anywhere else sells it specifically at their store. You might be able to get it at your eBays or your Amazons, but you can normally purchase it at GameStop. If you come over here and look at the side shot, not much to talk about here. We have a pretty good shot of her right here with some nice artwork of her. And of course, the back of the packaging showcases her, what she looks like out of packaging, and a little write-up about her and the bow that she has, Tamriel, which is a magical bow that was created by the character, basically by R.A. Salvatore, who is the author who made these particular characters. It came out, I want to say, in the mid-'80s. I would say this is a companion piece to the Dritus or Urnu statue that we've already reviewed. I'll put a link above my head if you want to watch that particular video. I would advise watching that video as well, because you'll get a feel of what I thought about that particular statue, and there's good points and bad points of the statue. Let's spin it around on my turntable 360 so you can see what it looks like. Again, price point for the statue is about $60 US. I have reserved feelings about this statue. I haven't unboxed it yet, which we'll do when we get it out of when we take it out of the packaging, so I can showcase off the additional components of this particular statue. But I have mixed reviews and mixed thoughts of this statue. I've been thinking about the statue all day, and I have some concerns with it. When we get it off the package, you'll understand my concerns and what I really feel about the statue, and more importantly, is this statue worth your money? Is it worth $60 US? So that being said, let's unbox Catti-brie here and see what she has out of packaging. Alright guys, we have a Modern Icons Catti-brie statue out of packaging. Next we do take a statue out of packaging. We normally look at the paint and articulation, but since this statue has no articulation, I'm going to substitute it for more of the design and the aesthetics of this particular statue. First things first, let's talk about the insert that came with the inside the packaging, which was basically all of her weapons. The bow, an arrow, her dagger, and her quiver here. This bow is a magical bow called Tamriel, the Heartseeker. She got it out of a dungeon in a particular book. It's a very cool magical bow, but think of, let's say, Hank from the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon. When you shoot an arrow from her bow, the arrow becomes a silver projectile and explodes on contact. That's what it's supposed to do. I think the bow looks pretty cool, but let's break down this statue here. Again, very small footprint, small form factor. I do like small, thin statues, and it's much easier to put them on a bookshelf or a bookcase to display. I like that. Let's get up-close shots of what she looks like here. The head sculpt, to me, is one of the biggest problems I have with this statue. Something feels off. I can't put my finger on it. It feels weird to me. I get what they were trying to do, but the head sculpt just seems a little bit off to me. I'll get some up-close shots, some B-roll of the head sculpt so you can see. I'll get maybe a better detailed look of it. I have the statue kind of pulled in pretty tight here so you can see it. The light might be a little off, unfortunately. I like she has this kind of kilt right there. She has, she's sporting. She does have a neat little dagger right here, but it might be hard to see. I'll pull back a little bit so you can see what it looks like. It is this dagger from the insert right there. That's the dagger she has, which is on her hip. Again, it might be coming hard to see here just because there it is. That's much better. So you can see the dagger right there. Again, I'll get some up-close shots of the dagger so you can see what it looks like. I like the attention to detail and the deco of the armor. You can see the details, the kind of embroidery, the design feel to the armor, so it looks like armor. It looks neat. I like the attention to detail there. The quiver right there. These are basically magical arrows. Again, that she fires it from Tamriel, the Heartseeker, and those arrows will, again, turn into magical magical missiles. It might have sort of a grayish feel to the arrow, and that kind of looks what the feel is when she shoots it. I'll talk about at the end of the video my thoughts at the end, the basically final thoughts of what I think about the statue as a whole and what they could have changed to make the statue better, in my personal opinion. Again, should you buy this statue? We'll talk more about that near the end of the video. I like the boots here. The boots look really, really good. The base is what really catches your eye here. I'll turn it up so you can see what it looks like. It's sort of this grassy area, some leaves. There's a shield right over here. It might be hard to notice in the back here, but there's a shield with some arrows stuck in it, probably from her bow. It looks really neat, the attention to detail for the base itself. It's very reminiscent of the Drizzt base, which again, we'll talk more about him in a second when I bring him in to the shot. Let's look at the bow, and you can see the grip she has on the arrow. This is kind of point number 2, kind of turns me off to the figure. The grip she has on that arrow looks really, really weird. She's gripping the arrow, and I'm not an archer per se, but it looks kind of unnatural, unwieldy how she's holding that arrow knocked to the bow. It looks a bit weird to me. Again, I'll get some up-close shots of it so you can see what it looks like. It looks odd. I do like the paint job on the bow, though. It has sort of this shine or shimmer to it. It looks like a magical bow, so I do like that. That looks pretty cool. It has sort of this red insert, like a red inlay in the back of it here, like a you can tell it's made of wood. The green attention to detail and the deco right through the bands of the bow on this side and on this side, which look really neat. Again, up close shots so you can see what it looks like. Let's spin her around on a turntable 360 so you can see what she looks like in all her glory. Again, not too bad. She is a small statue. Again, maybe I want to say about 8.5, maybe 9 inches tall. She's not a massive statue, so it won't take up a huge amount of space on your shelf, and that's one thing I really, really like. I like small statues, small form factors. They don't take up a whole lot of space. Usually, I would say bookshelf space is a necessity when it comes to a collection. Having something that doesn't take up a whole lot of space is really, really great. Now let's bring in the companion piece to Catti-brie here, and that is Drizzt Do'Urden, the Dark Elf Ranger. So we got Drizzt right here. As you can see, they fit in. They seem very similar in scope and scale. I do like what they did with the Drizzt statue. I think it could have been a little bit better. Catti-brie, I think they could have made a whole lot better. So what are my kind of final thoughts? Again, this is the companion piece to the Drizzt statue that I just mentioned here. What are my final thoughts with Catti-brie here? I personally think if you're a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, if you're a fan of Ari Salvatore, who created Drizzt and who created Catti-brie, then this is probably a buy for you. If you're someone who sees this on a shelf, you have no clue who the character is, it's probably a pass. It's probably a hard pass, unfortunately. I don't normally say that in my videos. I usually come across as being very optimistic when it comes to collectibles. This really didn't scratch that itch to me. This really, I get what they were trying to do, what Modern Icons were trying to do with, Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. I get what they were trying to do because that's who basically sponsors them. Of course, the property is held by Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. I get what they were trying to do, but this doesn't really work for me. I think they could have made the statue much, much better. If you ask me, hey, Rook, how would you change this statue? How would you have made this statue better? I would scrap this entire design. Having her in this kind of lanky, kind of rigid pose doesn't work for me. It works for Drizzt here. Drizzt here, it kind of works. But the Catti-brie here, especially kind of, as I said before, that head sculpt looks a little bit off to me. Something doesn't seem right. The grip of the bow with the arrow knocked that way doesn't seem right. I think they could have really redesigned and re-engineered this statue to be completely different. If you ask me again, what I would do is I would have her kind of in a leg back pose, leg forward pose with the bow drawn as you has her knocked, sort of like this knock here, but further knocked with the bow. I would make the entire arrow all silver at the front here, like it's glowing, and have wood in the back. Usually when they fired the arrow in the books, when she fired an arrow from Tamriel the Heartseeker here, it would kind of travel as an arrow, and then it would become an explosive silver projectile. Again, like Hank the Ranger from the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon, the energy bow, it was designed to be like that. That was the whole gimmick for this bow. That's what the whole principle, even Salvatore in interviews said, that's why he built this bow. He liked the character of Hank, and he wanted to take that from the cartoon and put it back into Dungeons & Dragons. That was his gimmick, that was his idea. But that's what I would do. I'd have her kind of kneel back with the bow extended here, the arrow knocked. I would have a much younger face here. This looks like a more mature Catti-brie. I would have a much younger face for probably an earlier point of time in the Crystal Shard trilogy of books. A much younger Catti-brie. Drizzt here, Dark Elves become, they live to be thousands of years old. So having her to be a younger human, I think that would make a lot more sense. She was raised by dwarves. Of course, Bruno Battlehammer was basically the dwarf who raised her. I would make her a much younger version here. Again, I get what they were trying to do. It doesn't work with me. It doesn't sit well. So that's what I would do. I'd have her lean back with bow drawn, silver arrow kind of like ignited, and in an extended pose with one leg forward, one leg back. That's what I would have done for this statue. This, to me, does not work. It just, again, I get what they're trying to do. It's just a hard pass. I had to buy it because I'm a Drizzt fan. I like Salvatore's work, his older books. So I had to get them as, again, a companion piece to Drizzt here. It works together as a set piece. The round bases work as well. That means you would have had to change the Drizzt statue here to make it a more dynamic stance, which they kind of should have done in a very cool battle pose to maybe fight Artemis entry. That's what they kind of should have done, because that is his nemesis. Basically Artemis and Terry was his nemesis in the book. Again, Drizzt was a good guy, a dark elf. Artemis was a rogue or a fighter thief. That's what he was in the books. So all in all, would I recommend Catti-brie here? Unfortunately, no. Again, if you're a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, you're probably going to buy it. If you're anybody else who sees the statue on the shelves, it would be, unfortunately, a hard pass. So those are my thoughts of the Modern Icons Catti-brie statue. Definitely click the like button on the page. Click that all-important subscribe button. When you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified of my latest videos. Of course, last but not least, you click Windows here and here to watch more of my content. Take care, guys. See you next video. And bye-bye.